Welcome to Conversations with Toy, a blogcast tackling life one episode at a time. This is the time to air out life's craziest moments. This space is all about speaking about life's hang-ups and ways in which we can leave better than when we started. Topics are all about ways we can find space to be better in life, love, mental space, and health.
Happy Friday. I hope that you have had the most amazing week. Hello? Is this thing on? Listen, I know that you probably want to get on me about the fact that I let you guys be silenced for 2 weeks. I did not come and do a podcast for 2 weeks, and we'll get into that. But first, let me do my intro. If this is your first time listening to Conversations with Toy, I am so glad that you are here. I believe that nothing happens by accident. So if you're here, it's because you needed to hear something on this podcast, whether it be this episode or the mini seasons and episodes that we already have done. And when I say we is me. And I'm so glad that you are here. Let this not be your last time. Make sure that you leave a review. These are 3 things you could do. 1, leave a review. Number 2, you're already doing it. You're listening. Listen to it all the way through. Number 3, share it. It's free 99 to share. You don't have to pay to share. You don't have to, get yourself together to share. You just pretty much share. It's free. So those 3 things: review, share, and listen all the way through. But I'm super excited to be back. I did not take necessarily a hiatus. It's just the world has just been doing the most. Since the last that we have talked, a lot has happened, and I don't even have to hash out what those things are because I'm sure you already know. This is not your first podcast that you've listened to in the last 2 weeks. There's been some amazing voices that have come together to bring all kinds of things and conversations together, where it's been talking about some of the alleged political assassinations and all these other different things. I also want just to remind people, okay, in order for you to be a political anything, you would have to be in politics. I know that the conversation surrounding it becomes political because people have used it for political means, but in order for it to be considered anything political, you would have to be in politics. And I think you know what I'm talking about when it says that the person that we have been hearing about for the last 2 weeks is not in politics. And I need us to change our vocabulary because a lot of times we say things because we repeat what somebody else says. That man was not in politics. His death is not political outside of the unfortunate things that he said and routed and stood behind became political. They begin to be political pawns. Now, if you want to say he's a political pawn, then by all means say that. But this man was not a political figure. He did not hold office anywhere, and we are treating him as if he has. I will say that I feel very bad for his children. I feel bad for his children because they're small enough to not have made decisions about what they believe in, right? Children don't get to say. However, their parents live. That's unfortunately how children have to live until they're old enough to make the decision according to what they want to do with their lives, how they want to believe, and how they want to live. I don't know what it's like to lose both parents, to lose a father. I don't know what that's like, thank God. But I would have some thought process that it would be very hard because the things that you would want your father to be there to be proud of you and to see you as you matriculate and you grow, they will not have that opportunity. So again, I always have nothing but love and sincere prayers for the children because their father will always be remembered. Some people want to call him a martyr. I'm not necessarily willing to call him that. Let me not even sugarcoat it. I'm not calling him that. That will not be something that those are not words that I would choose to use. I have listened to the rhetoric going back and forth about some people believing that, he died for what he believed in. There's a lot of people who die for what they believe in, right? They believe in certain things and they die and believe in those things. I don't consider that to be a martyr. I do know that there are some Christians who have been making some very strong statements comparing him to Jesus, comparing him to Dr. Martin Luther King. Again, these are not things that I would compare him to. I always look at the principle of a thing. There's nothing about this particular individual that stands for love. There's nothing about this particular individual that doesn't demean. There's nothing about this particular individual who says the most outlandish things that he believes in. There's people who I know that believe in drinking Diet Coke every day. That doesn't mean that doing so is a good thing. So I don't want to make light of it. I don't want to be disrespectful of anybody's death, but I also am not going to come on here and sugarcoat it and act as if I am in alignment. Sometimes I feel like we forget that our words have life, and we have to remember that our words have life and death in them. And sometimes we can be our own bad influence. And a lot of people have said it, and I've heard it all my whole life, is that you live by the sword, you die by the sword. That does not mean that we need to celebrate his death. I think people are confusing the celebration of a person's death with saying, it just has nothing to do with me. You don't have to feel a ways about it. You know, people want this strong emotional attachment. And for those who feel that, I guess I lift you up in prayer for that. But I don't feel like people need to exhibit some sort of emotional response. And I feel like some people are getting it confused, as some people's lack of emotional response means that they are celebrating. I have yet to post anything that sounds like it's been a celebration of his death, and I will never do something like that. And here's the reason why. Regardless of how that man lived, I would hate for someone to highlight that. Just don't want that to be my highlight reel. However, I do realize that in his death, that doesn't absolve the things that he said or did. I know we want to put everybody in heaven. We want to put everybody in heaven, but I'm going to be honest, a lot of folks ain't going. And I just pray that I'm going to get there. Because again, a lot of times we put folks on these high pedestals. In reality, they could be real menaces at home in their real personal life. Think about all the people that you know. Think about the people that you know that unfortunately have passed on, and you know that they left here leaving things unsaid, and they left here with animosities and problems, and you might have been beefing your whole life with people, or they've just been so nasty to other people. I don't understand how we can act like those things don't live on. I know I've had a family member that passed, and I don't have nothing bad to say about her, but I also don't have anything good to say about her. I know, clutch your imaginary pearls. I don't have anything to say. I don't speak evil of the dead, but I also don't have anything good to say about her. My experiences with her were not positive. There's nothing about her. When she passed, I didn't feel the pull to go to her funeral. And yet I am very respectful of the fact that she passed. And I think that's something that can be said. I have seen people rejoice. I'm not going to act like I haven't seen it, but I'm just saying, personally, for me, I'm not going to rejoice over death. I'm personally not a fan of the fact that we all have to die. I get it that we do. We were born to die. I get all of those things. Sing all the songs in the choir. I understand all those things, but I am not a fan of it. So when people die, it's just one of those things that even it just makes me feel a certain way. So I don't speak evil of the dead, but I will not speak highly of someone who did, in my opinion, didn't earn it. Now you might be saying, well, one day you might pass and there might be somebody that will think that you don't earn it, that you shouldn't earn it. Let me just say this. There are good experiences that people have had with me, and if I keep it 100, there are going to be some bad experiences that people have had with me, and if they choose to live underneath that bad experience, I'm not going to be here to be able to coach them through that, right? There ain't nothing I could do about it. I think that the best thing that I could do is to try to live the way that I'm supposed to, so that there are less people to have bad experiences with me. I think those are it. I think I can acknowledge that. I've tried my best to acknowledge that I'm not everybody's cup of tea. Right, I'm not everybody's cup of tea, but I would go on to record to say that if it was a general conversation about how I would leave spaces, that I will always try to leave spaces in a better sense than when I came in. So that I can say, but I will say, will somebody sit there and God forbid my time comes and somebody's like, I ain't never liked her. Only thing I can say is, I wish you just wouldn't come. Like, I don't go to people's funerals that I don't like. I don't go to people's funerals that I don't fool with. I'm very particular about funerals. If I don't even know you on a personal basis, like know you, like been to your house, broke bread with you, did all those things, I'm most likely not going to come unless you've inspired me in some way that has been so dynamic. I'm not showing up. It's not personal. It's not ignorant. It's not rude. There's family members that I haven't gone to their funeral. I don't feel the pull to go. I'm not showing up to first showing up sake. I feel like sometimes we show up because it's the right thing to do. I'm not here to see what the body. Black folks, they're like, who did the body? Well, who cooked the chicken? Who cooked the mac and cheese? I ain't eating either one of them things anyway, so I don't care. I'm not showing up to people's funerals just to be showing up. So I know we have to get that little housekeeping thing out of the way so that they can go on record about how you thought I was wrong for what I'm saying right now. You just take it to God, because there ain't nothing that's going to change my mind. I don't feel like there's any new news that's going to break and I'm going to be like, you know what, Lord, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I don't see that for this situation. I don't. What I can say is that we got to find a way to live right and make good decisions for our own lives and live how we want to be honored. I can't stress that enough. You got to live how you want to be honored. I am not a person that's going to mince words and make people feel like they've done some good when I know they have not. My experiences with people will not override that. I don't. And again, I show nothing but love and general respect to people of all colors, every creed, all the things. We don't got to agree. We don't got to be kissing in the shower. We don't got to come together. We don't got to do none of that. All I'm saying is that I sometimes I agree to disagree. So if you're feeling the opposite of what I am saying, let's just agree to disagree. I'm not here to change your thought process, and no longer can you change mine. And that's just what it is. So that's the good general housekeeping for what has happened in these last 2 weeks, because there's been more than just happened, with that. We've had, unfortunately, some school shootings that have taken place. And of course, we want to just act like those things didn't matter, because this one situation matters. And that's the only thing we should be thinking about. That isn't the only thing that we should be thinking about. Colleges, high schools, elementary schools, children should be able to go to school and not have the fear of being taken out of this world by somebody who just wants to spew evil. And the fact that these gentlemen, and I'm going to say gentlemen because here are the stats. The stats show that most of these mass shooters are usually predominantly white men. And I feel interesting how we always want to talk about black men and black people and how much they are so violent. But if you think about it, you go into somebody's school and you go to somebody's church and you shoot up innocent babies and children, there has to be a level of violence. But of course, we don't ever want to talk about that. And I hate to make everything a black and white thing. But the reason why I have to make everything a black and white thing is because the black and white thing is what rules this world. It's what controls who gets better care. It controls who gets the better service. It controls all the things. So we're not going to act like race doesn't matter when I can go to a restaurant and get served indifferently because someone doesn't like the color of my skin, simply because I just existed. Not because they know me, not because, of any of these other reasons, just because of the color of my skin. So we're not going to act like these things don't matter. Okay. We're just not. All right. What have I been up to in these last 2 weeks that I kind of went radio silence, at least on the podcast? I've really just been trying to get my schedule down packed. My schedule changes every day. My schedule changes every week. It changes every minute. Just like, this week, I had 2 events yesterday. I made it to one, and the one went so far over. Again, it was a great event. Nothing bad about the event itself, but it went over the time. And then that pushed my time to pick the kids up, to get home, to do all the things, to go back out the door. I was feeling some type of way because it's like, okay, I'm going to go head out. I'm going to try. And then what happened? Boom, traffic. I was like, you know what? I'm going to take my behind home. I can't. I'm already having this high level anxiety because I hate getting to places late. And then it's like, okay, I have this high level anxiety. I have all these other things going on. I'm just going to wrap it up and I'm going to head back home regardless of how far I've gotten out, because I'm exhausted, I'm tired, and I'm already frustrated. Those are things that I'd hate to experience before you go to an event. Because you don't want to show up as your best self. You want to do everything that you can to show up as your best self. And sometimes you can't when that level of anxiety, of the stress of getting to a place is on you. So that is how my 2 weeks has been going. My schedule has been up and down. I can't really commit to a lot of things. And the things that I do commit, I do my best to show up at. I truly hate the feeling of knowing that somebody prepared for me and I didn't show up, or I just didn't, no show, no call, no show. I'm not one of those people. Never have been, never been that way with work, never been that way with personal, never been that way with my business, never been that way. And I don't plan to do that. There are times when life happens and life be lifing. Like I experienced today, there's nothing I can do to make time go backwards. And so therefore I was stuck in a rock in a hard place. And I don't like that feeling because I don't feel like I don't like to feel like I let people down. But in the thought process of doing what's best and what made sense and doing all those things to work around, I did the best I could with what I had. And I have to I keep reminding myself that you did the best what you could with what you had. And I know a lot of times when we think about that like with our parents and how they raised us and they did the best that they could. And then as they get older and we get older, we start seeing our parents from a different light. I'm experiencing all of those things. Okay. And let me just also say, when I did my intro, I forgot to say the many hats that I wear, like the content creator, writer, blogger, and all the things. And I also forgot the two main hats that I wear, which is being a mom and being a wife. But being a mom of three amazing kids, I must admit that and make sure I put that in there, because I feel like my kids who listen to the podcast will then be on me and be like, where's our shout out? There you go. So I want to apologize, but there it is. Again, with wearing all these hats, wearing all these things, and having to be at different places all at once, I must admit my schedule, I can't recognize my own schedule. And content creation has been coming so evolved. And I'm not putting out content in 24 hours anymore. I know. Hold your imaginary, clutch your pearls. If anybody who's been following me, who's been like a day one, you know that I could go to an event tonight and post that bad boy less than 24 hours, because I would come home no matter how tired I was, no matter how all the things, and sit up and write a blog and sit up and do the video editing and content. I ain't doing it no more. I know. Some things it makes sense. Sometimes I can do it if it aligns and it makes sense, but I'm no longer in that thought process and mindset. Here's why. Let me give you a little bit of background. As a blogger, I, maintain my own blog. I have my own website. I have a webmaster who does all of my things. When I want to change my website look, which been doing now for once a year, she comes in, she does all the things, and then I make sure that I put the content up and maintain that. I can move things around because I do know how to edit myself on my website. I just love the fact that I have a professional to do it as well. I say all that to say, oftentimes when it comes to the writing part of what I do, let's say I attend an event. Like for instance, this week, the big event that I've been noticing people have been going to this week was Tinsel. Tinsel is like one of the Halloween bars. And so I would go to the Halloween bar if I went, right? I'll make the video content and I write this blog post. So this blog lives on my page alone, blah, blah, blah. A lot of the PRs, and I knew the PR who worked that account, a lot of the PRs, the companies themselves, they're not sharing those blog posts, right? They're not interested in that because I'm not one of the major, newsprint. They're not looking for that. They're not even including my write-up and their recap and stuff. Trust me, I've worked with the PR who used to do it. I've seen it. It wasn't even happening, and I was working with the dude. So, I say all that to say I'm no longer busting my behind to help other companies reach their goals. So yes, I will definitely get content in a timely manner, but I'm not breaking my neck to help you with your numbers. I'm not. I'm not saying that I'm not going to do my part. If I say I'm going to post or if I'm going to do these and things, I'm going to do those things. I'm just saying I'm not breaking my neck. I am not rushing the process. I am not feeling guilty. I'm not doing any of those things because a lot of times these bigger companies don't want that. They want the Philly Inquirer. They want these other publications. And kudos to them. They're bigger companies, media companies. It's just me. I'm just a team of me when it comes to the writing and all the things that I'm putting out. But I'm no longer trying to break my neck. What I am doing is, if it makes sense for me to include it, I'll do a roundup, a wrap up of some things. I won't have any problems doing it that way. But if it's not benefiting me in some type of sort, if it's not a mutually respected situation, I unfortunately am not subscribing to the thought process that I again need to rush content. I'm not doing that. And I know the people, again, who are my day ones, my ride or dies, know how different of a tune that I am now, singing, chirping, all the things. Because your girl was the 24-hour turnaround girl. And I used to say to myself, I started saying to myself at some point, I think this happened maybe 2 years ago, like, and girl, and for why? Why are you doing all this? You could just go to the event, have a good time, and go to bed. Why are you doing all that? And when I couldn't come up to an answer, I simply stopped. And can we say how great it is to feel the fall vibes? Listen, I know that the weather isn't acting correctly because we're still seeing 80-degree weather. If my hairdressers listen to this week's episode, please know by the time you see me next week, my hair is already done. It's already done. I ain't even make it a week. Why? Because the humidity. The humidity, even in this fall weather, is kicking my behind. But welcome to fall. It is fall. Listen, summer is my girl. Summer makes me happy. It does other things. But fall is my last time before that winter foolishness kicks in. I am not a winter girl. I don't like to be cold. I don't like ice. I don't like snow. If I could bypass both of those things, I truly would. In my new life, when I as I say, when I growed up, I'm gonna live in like Arizona or something. Like I need to be somewhere where I can get some seasonable weather all year round. I don't want to go to Florida. Florida's overrated. I'm sorry. I'm not interested right now in going to Florida. Maybe my thought process will change. I'm good. Okay, I'm good. But I would go to Arizona in a hot minute. This last time I went to Arizona, I fell in love with it. Fell in love with it. So yes, if there was like a where would I live in the world, it would be Arizona. Because I like the fall. I like the warmness of it. So we're going from summer, we're into the fall. We get to wear our sweaters, we get to be a little cute, we get to wear our boots. Although I would say I had some boots on this week and they were kicking my behind. Now, granted, I was walking around in the actual Philadelphia airport for a tour, not considering the fact that, like, I've been trying to do better on trying to think about, like, where am I going? What's the purpose? What's the aesthetic? And being a little bit more in tuned. And for whatever reason, my brain went left. I didn't even consider the fact that, like, if we're in the airport and we're walking around from terminal to terminal, why would I wear boots? But did I listen to that? Did I even tune into that? I did not. And so I went there walking around with the big dogs with my feet hurting about 85% of the way. Like I was pretty good for like a long time, but then it's like we started getting towards the end where again, I was like, ooh, I don't know what to do about this, but my feet was killing me. And so, yeah, so we're here for the weather. We're here for the boots. We're here for all those things fall. I just love it. I love like the outdoory things that you can do in the fall. I want to do like the apple picking, the all the things. But the weird thing about this year is that all three of my kids are super heavily involved, that it's going to be hard to try to do like a family day of us doing one fall activity because everybody has something to do. My oldest has Saturdays and Sundays is booked. My son is booked on Sundays. My daughter is booked either on a Saturday or a Sunday. We just don't have the time. This is why I tell parents, you got to try to enjoy those times when everybody doesn't have those busy schedules and you get to make those memories because I'm at a point now where, yeah, we'll make the memories, but we're going to have to make memories in shifts. And I am not a fan of that. Like, just not a fan of it. Now, since I talk about mental health and wellness, can we talk about the power of your sleep? Like, what, if you listening, when the last time you got some good sleep? Let me tell you how sleep has saved my life. I was talking to my therapist. I've been talking to my therapist every week now. We was tapering off. We were tapering off, doing like maybe twice a month, but we back on once a week because the intensity of my schedule has been having me on another level, and I need to be able to check in with somebody that can check in with somebody that can check in with somebody. You get me? So, if your sleep quality is trash, I promise that it's not going to make you be a better content creator. It's not going to make you a better worker. It's not going to make you better in your career. And I get it. Like you, like myself, life be lifing. There are times when I'm up late. There are times when I go to bed early. I get it. Your sleep may fluctuate. But I have been very intentional. Intentionality has been my word. I have been saying this since about a few weeks ago. I said, Lord, how can I be more intentional? God, drop that word in my spirit. And every day I have been challenged. Every day. My new challenge for this upcoming week is to get my tail back into that gym and get myself consistent because your girl does not like the way she's looking and stuff. And the only way to fix that is for me to get myself and get this stuff tight, get my McFluffy tight. We got to tighten it up. We got to get it to a little diet something. Now, when I say a diet, I'm not talking about me taking a diet. I'm talking about a little diet ice cream or something because my McFluffy is doing too much and we're going to tighten her up. I say all that to say, can I encourage you to go to bed 2 or 3 days in 1 week at a decent, reasonable hour? I get it. I know. You're saying, how are you telling me to go to bed 2 and 3 days a week on time-ish? I'm telling you because your mental health will chef kiss you. It will chef kiss you. Your sleep will make you a better anything that you're trying to be in this world. Your sleep will make a difference. I know you're thinking that there's no physical impossible way that anything that I'm saying makes sense. But you know that I know that you know that sleep is your number one of your biggest tools to help you with your mental health. Let me explain. Have you ever been tired? And I mean like exhausted, drained, and all of a sudden everything is causing you to be irritated because you just become naturally agitated. I know you don't see me and I don't get to see you, so you get to just put your hands up in the privacy of your own life and world. But you know that I'm telling you the truth. The times that I lack sleep is the times when my irritability has gone to 1,000. I have been making sure that I advocate for myself by telling my family, hey, pump the brakes. Me and this time restraint, I'm not doing well. But when I get some rest, it doesn't solve my problems. I still have bills that has to be paid. I still have things that needs to get done. I already told you I done failed this week on my time. These things happen. But with sleep, it's a silent tool that nobody talks about when it comes to your mental health. I have been tracking my sleep and I have been amazed about how great I feel. I'm not saying that there are not times in the day that I still don't feel a little tired at moments. But overall, my energy level is better. My comprehension to be able to hear people for what they're truly trying to say instead of that tiredness demon kicking in and all of a sudden what your partner done told you, you done heard him say something else and now you're ready to square up. Or maybe that is just me. And that's okay. Okay, it's okay. But when I have gotten some rest has been such a powerful tool in helping me get my mental health together. Do you understand? I am not telling you that sleep has saved my issues. I'm not telling you that I gone into sleep and woke up and I've become a new person, because that rejuvenation, that has got to be some powerful stuff if that was able to build that and make that happen. But I can handle the things that are coming my way better. I can handle the stress of my schedule changing at a second's notice. I can handle when a deadline is at the brink and I'm stressing out. I can handle it better because I have sleep, and which gives me more clarity. Some of us are looking for 20,000 tools for our self-care and mental health and wellness when you just need to go to bed. Stop scrolling on your phone 11 times. Stop watching the TV, or AKA the TV is watching you. Get your behind back into that old school bed and take your behind to sleep. I know you want to just get yourself some melatonin. Nobody's asking you to do that. No. I am telling you to go to bed. And if you need to do a mind dump with your journal and just write your thoughts out, because some people say, my mind is racing, I can't rest. First of all, you need to go dip yourself in some prayer, because if your spirit and your mind is so perplexed to the point where you lose sleep, I ain't saying that something's wrong with you. I am telling you that you need to figure this out. You need to do a mind dump. And here's the thing. Because we're not Houdini, there are no 3, wishes that you can get from the genie's lamp. There are going to be times in our life where we're not going to have it figured out. I don't know if you lived long enough to experience that, but there's going to be times if you just live a little longer, like my great-grandmother would say, just live a little bit. My mama said the same thing too. But if you learn to live a little bit, you'll know that you can't make life do what you wanted to do. But I say this, sleep will give you the strength to make it through to the next day. Because, stuff do come our way. Things do pop up. Things do happen. But we've got to get to the point. You, I, collectively, we have got to get to the point where we start controlling the things that we can control. Staying up all night, worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow is not going to change. But if you got some sleep, you'll have 5 seconds of feeling better. Again, sleep ain't going to cure you. It's not going to cure you if you're dealing with cancer and your mind is all racing because you got life in the balance. It's not going to fix it. but it could give you enough strength to show back up into that hospital space or that medical office to get yourself back on your port, to unfortunately get the stuff that you need to help you to live. It could give you some more strength. I've had times when, I feel like my relationship is off and my kids are getting on my nerves, but I went to sleep. So I had the strength to find a way to communicate better to my spouse. And I found the strength to take an extra breather so that I don't go off and Katie kaboom on my kids who don't deserve that. Sleep. Rest. Mind dump. Take you an old school piece of paper or go on your phone. You already own it 11 times. Some of y'all be on your phones. I tell my kids all the time, I actually get paid to be on my phone. What I make helps to pay my phone if it really could, right? I get paid to be on my phone so I can check on my online business. My kids be on there harder in the paint. And I'm like, y'all don't have no business on this phone because y'all not doing no business on this phone. But since you're on your phone, like my kids are, I want you to use your notes or whatever you have it, because I can't tell you what that apparatus is for Android. I'm sorry, Android. I don't know. I don't live that. I don't speak that. But Team iPhones, you have a notes app. Use it. Mind dump. If it's just a thought, it could be a word. It could be whatever you need to write so that you can write it out, get it out your system, and take yourself to bed. Do your nighttime routine and get yourself to sleep. Because many of y'all and many of us are staying up late at night and waking up and acting like a worse than we went to bed because we only got 2 hours of sleep. We only got 3 hours of sleep. Sleep has been my secret weapon. It has been making the difference. Because I'm cognitive, like how to use my emotional intelligence, because I've gotten enough sleep. I'm not stressing. I can do a little bit. I can act right. So I am encouraging you to try to go to bed at least 2 to 3 times a week. These last 2 weeks, even some people in my circle have been like, hey, you better get you some sleep, go get you some rest. And I've been like, you know what? Let me go ahead and do that. I've been tracking my sleep during nighttime. I have an Apple Watch. I charge it during the day when I'm like working. And I use it at night so that I can track my sleep. I've been getting at least 6.5 to 7, sometimes even more hours of sleep every night. I know you'd be like, girl, 6 hours ain't 8. Listen, 6 hours ain't 8, but it's better than 4. 6 and 7, 8 hours are not 8, but it's better than, going to bed at 2 and getting up at 5. It's better, and I'm getting better and better at making sure that I'm intentional with my time. And my scrolling, I said to myself, the amount of times that I've scrolled, knowing I got content that has to be edited, why am I watching somebody else's content when I could be working on my own? That's for my content creators. Why are you on the line looking at somebody else's content when you got edit stuff that you got to do? So many times I hear people say, oh, I'm so backed up on content, I don't know when I'm going to get it done. You could get it done when you stop scrolling. Sometimes you just be scrolling and you need to stop scrolling and get your work done. And you might be saying, well, it's not work for me. I don't do this full time. But baby, it is. Because some of y'all want to become full-time content creators, but you don't want to do the full-time work. And that's going to require you to stop. I'm not telling you can't scroll, because I pick a day. I have a Friday where I just do my mindless scrolling on Friday. Friday's my day. It's what I do. However, let me preface, that's picking a day and having that day. It's not trying to do this every single day. Stop doing the most when you know you're not getting paid to be on these phones, and take yourself to bed. Sleep is a great tool to have in your arsenal for your mental health and wellness. It's not going to cure, but it will aid. It will give you some strength. It will allow you to move differently so that you can show up in your spaces the way that you're supposed to show up. You can't say, you know what, girl, I'm so sorry I acted that way. I was just so tired. Because some people are going to get so tired of hearing you saying the same thing and that being your excuse every time you act out of character because you didn't just take yourself to sleep and put some thought to it. Listen, I am the type of person that I have been working on this for years, but my comeback, my mouth is sharp. So I'm the type of person that will hear you, and I'm already listening for me to come at you with a response, right? I'm not listening. I'm not even listening to you. I'm not listening to listen. I'm listening to have a response. And in the midst of that, if I would just go to sleep, it'll allow me to slow my brain down just a little. And yes, I can still be just as snarky and I can still be just as quick. But taking 5 more seconds to listen, because that rest is causing my mind to rest, which then causes my mouth to rest, which causes less drama. because that's what I'm trying to get to. Stay out the drama. Listen, I've been saying out people's business so much. I be in circles with people and don't even know they own tea, and they be in my circles. And unless they're like a bestie or somebody that I talk to on a regular day basis, 9 times out of 10 and 10 times out of 9, I don't know what the hell's going on, folks, because I stay in my lane. My lane has so many movements. I got so many detours I got to take and so many stops and U-turns I got to be paying attention to that when I get my sleep, I can't focus on what everybody else is doing. So sleep is essential. Go to bed. Take your tail to bed. Like my parents used to say when I was little, if you don't go in there and take your behind and go to sleep, I am telling you, take your behind in your room, your house, your whatever you live, your domain, and get yourself some sleep, because your lack of sleep is causing problems in so many different areas. And again, sleep ain't gonna cure it, because if that's the case, I would be like Snow White. Ain't that the one that's Sleeping Beauty? No, Sleeping Beauty, because I'd be out, knocked out for the counts, just like Sleeping Beauty. Sleep ain't gonna fix it. Sleep just gives you the strength. Some of you are so weary in your mind, and your mind is so weary because you won't turn it off. Now, listen, it's harder to actually turn it off than what I'm telling you, but I am telling you, you are worth the investment of just going ahead and laying it down. Go ahead and lay it down. Go ahead and lay it down. Lay down. There was, in church we used to sing, lay our troubles down. Lay your troubles down. Mind dump. Whatever it is that you have to do so you can go to bed. Get yourself some water and take yourself to sleep. Some of y'all are up and up and up, and that's why you keep eating at 12 o'clock in the morning, because you won't take your behind and go to bed. You need to go to sleep. You do. I know there's other tools that you can use. You can use therapy. You can use acupuncture. There's a lot of things that you can use for your mental health and your wellness. 100%. But don't you sleep on sleep. Sleep needs you to tap in when you're supposed to. You ain't doing nothing. You ain't solving no world problems. Ain't nobody found a cure for cancer by being up 24/7. Yes, there are people who are up while we're asleep trying to find it, but you're not up 24/7 trying to figure out how you're going to do all the things. I'm telling you right now, how you going to do all the things, I don't know, but I know it comes to you as you keep living. You just keep walking, put one foot underneath the other, put one day in front of the other, take one day at a time, but you need to go to sleep. Take yourself to bed. Like my mom and them would tell me, take your behind the bed. Take your behind the bed, shut your eyes, shut your mouth, and go to sleep. I get it. This don't sound like the advice that you would hear from somebody. I'm not them. I am not a licensed professional. I'm just here to encourage you from the things that I have learned in my own mental health and wellness journey. But the people around you are getting sick of you with your attitude every 2.3 because you need to go to sleep. Take your behind in there and go to sleep. Close your eyes, close your mouth, and go to bed. Get you some rest. Learn how to rest even when you don't sleep. Let me say that one more time. Learn how to rest even when you don't sleep. I'm talking about when you're up in the daytime. You're up, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You're up in the daytime. You're not supposed to be asleep. You're supposed to be up. You're supposed to be doing the things, but you can't even rest your mind because you don't get the rest in the nighttime that you're supposed to get. You're not resting the thought process of trying to fix it. You can't fix everything. Some things will, unfortunately, you will leave this earth with a lot of things unfixed. But as long as you tried to the best of your ability to fix it, that's your credit. That's your extra credit. But some of y'all need to go to bed. Go ahead and lay down somewhere. Because all this sitting up at night ain't doing nothing. No, people who sit up at night is people who are contemplating stuff they ain't got no business doing. They doing stuff with their mind and they thinking about stuff they ain't got no business doing that they shouldn't even be around because they need to take their behind somewhere and go to bed. Shut your eyes. Shut your mouth. Go to sleep. Who would have thought that the very things that my mother would tell me as a kid would be the one thing I'd have to use again? You ever thought about that? Think about all the naps that we should have been taking, but we was like, I ain't tired. I'm not tired, child. I would go back right now. Being an adult is ghetto. I don't want to be in this. This is the ghetto land. You talk about being in suburban cities like Philadelphia, New Jersey, LA, all these different places where, you might find some tougher neighborhoods. But being an adult is the worst hood to be in. The adulthood, I don't want to be a part of it. But we're here now. So I got to take my tail to bed, shut my eyes, shut my mouth, and go to bed. Get some sleep, get some rest, pour back into me. Tell a couple people no. No, you can't take Susie and grandmama and auntie and them to the grocery store this week because you need to go home and get your house in order and go to bed. No, you can't do somebody a favor one more time when you call them their phone, they somehow their phone is in the river somewhere because they can't hear it. They can't hear. They'll never pick up. All of a sudden, they wait till like 2 or 3 days and call you back. Hey, girl, what happened? What'd you call me for? Oh, I was calling you because I was having some issue. Oh, girl, I was so busy. I was so caught up. But when your phone ring, when they calling you and your phone ring, you supposed to be Johnny on the ones and picking up. No, tell somebody no. Tell somebody I can't do that today. I have to see when I can fit you in my schedule. I can't do it right now. It ain't life and death. I gotta go. I gotta attend to my own thing. Hey, I have a class I'm trying to go to. I got to put myself first, Lucius. I got to put my mask on first. Can't do that. Oh, my kid is not acting right. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and get some sleep, so I'll knock your head between the TV and the walkway. I got to get some sleep. Now, FYI, I ain't never knocked my children between the TV and the walkway or anything else. I just want to put that little, disclaimer out, because sometimes you hear some of these things that we as Black people say, and if you're non-Black and you hear something like that, you be like, "Ooh, Lord Jesus, we got to call children of you. She knocking her children up beside her head." These babies is the most spoiled, beautiful children you will ever meet. These kids is living it. Do you understand me? They live in it. So no, my babies are not being knocked up the head in between a rock and a hard place. If anything, they probably needed it many a day and ain't got it. So let's just be clear. Let me put that disclaimer, because sometimes y'all hear some things. I remember when I had this therapist, and I don't know what I said. It was some type of saying that I said. And next thing you know, he wanted to evaluate me for harm. I'm like, that's just something we've been saying our whole life. That's why sometimes it matters if you get a therapist or somebody that can understand the culture, so you ain't got to break it down. But I'm going to break it down for y'all, because this is something that's on, on recording. Y'all want to be playing it don't have them children you've come over here, because they're going to be a waste of time. They come over here and see these babies got all these clothes in here and shoes that they can't even wear, stuff they be having with tags on it. Yeah, you come over here and see that, and see them at their private school, and everybody's involved in their activities, and they ain't got a scratch on their body. Ain't never been slapped in their face. They ain't never been abused. Ain't never been nothing. I just want to put that out there, and let's get back to the script. Make sure you get some rest. Take your tail to bed. Use the tool wisely. I don't know who needs to hear this, but there's somebody that's on that struggle bus listening to this saying to myself, I sure need to go to bed. Even if you're listening to this, stop this tape right now. Stop this. Well, it's not tape back in the day, stop the tape, but stop this, put this on pause and come back to it. And I ain't going nowhere. My voice going to be here. It's recorded in heaven and everywhere else. You can push play again when you wake up, but go to bed. Go ahead to bed. Use that tool. Use that skill set to take yourself to sleep, because ain't nothing in this life worth all that. Ain't nothing worth all that. Okay? So that is the podcast that we have. We had to clean up some housework stuff, because, again, I know you haven't heard me. I've been on radio silence. I've been seeing what's going on. How could I not? I'm a political science major. I'm always looking for angles to analyze the information that I'm receiving. But let's stop saying something is political just because they align with political agendas. They're not into politics. They're aligning with political agendas. And I need to get us some rest, right? And I need us to find some things that make us smile and some things that fill our cup, and find some hobbies. Do you know how many people are sitting here working out every day and they ain't got near hobby? They sit at their desk 24/7. They working 24/7. They working themselves to the bone, ain't got one hobby. Change it. But then make sure you go to sleep, because you need that rest. That is a tool. That is a tool that has been keeping me. That has been the tool that I talked to my therapist about. When am I going to go to bed? How much sleep are you getting every night? Are you visiting your friends? Are you taking some time out? Are you getting out the house? Those are all types of things that my therapist brings up. So I'm only giving you what I know works. Go to bed. Shut your eyes. Shut your mouth. And go to sleep. That is this podcast for this week. And I will be back, Lord's will, next time. Thank you for listening to Conversation with Toy.
Thank you as always for joining me, and I know that even in the deepest or joyful conversations that there's something we can learn and apply. Until next time, I hope that you are doing better. If not, we will be back to talk some more and handle it. Peace to you and yours. Stay grounded.